Welcome to the 2023 year in review. I'm breaking down everything that I have knit and crocheted this year and reviewing my 2023 goals. And you're about to see why I'm calling this year the year of blankets. Hey everyone, my name is Natalie, also known as Knitty Natty. This is a very special podcast episode where I am reviewing my year. Now, the past 5 year in reviews can be found linked down below. So this is the 6th year that I have been doing this, and it's so much fun to go back and take a look at all of the projects that I've worked on for the year. I think it just is very telling to kind of see not only how many projects I did, but what types of projects I was into for the year. It always kind of links up with what was going on in my life. So here's what makes 2023 a little bit unique. We started out the year in New York City. We lived there for 6 months, all the way through June. During that time, we were kind of gearing up and planning to go on this next big adventure. We spent July at my parents' house in Nashville, Tennessee. And then in August, we finally hit the road. We bought a van, which is an RV van that we are now traveling around to all 50 US states to visit yarn stores, dye studios, alpaca farms, dyers, whatever we can find. I'm going to start with a quick stats breakdown, and then we'll dive a little deeper into each category. I'm going to share some of my favorite projects from the year, some themes that I am seeing. This year, I'm not going to be sharing my 2024 goals, at least in this video. I have something a little different planned, so be on the lookout for another video on that sometime in late January or early February. If you want to do this exercise yourself, and I highly encourage it, it's a lot of fun. It is a lot easier if you have been keeping track of your projects via Ravelry. So if you're a Ravelry user, just go to your project page, go over to filters, and then filter by year completed and select 2023. After you sort out all your projects, if you would like to share it, I have created an Instagram story template that you can download down below, share it on Instagram, and make sure to tag me because I would love to see it. Let's dive into the numbers. I've got them down here on my notes page. I'm going to be sharing loads and loads of numbers in this video. So first up is just total overall projects complete. I'm not counting projects that are not complete, just the ones that I finished in 2023. So in total, I completed 33 projects this year. That breaks down to 28 knitting projects and 5 crochet projects completed. Now, breaking it down even further into categories, I made 11 socks, 8 cozies, 5 blankets, 4 hats, 4 garments, and 1 gnome. Just looking at this overall, it was really comparable to 2022. In 2022, I completed 34 projects, 31 knitting, and 3 crochet. So almost identical really to the previous year, which was interesting to me. I honestly thought it was going to be, I thought I was going to have more crochet projects. I didn't think I had completed more projects in the year because I made a lot of really big ones, but I did think I did a lot more crochet, and perhaps that's because I was doing a lot of larger crochet projects like my blankets that I was working on. In 2023, at the beginning of 2023, I set out to use up all of my scraps, leftovers, advents, mini skeins, and get those all used up. So I think that really contributed to this year and to what I made. So I completed 5 blankets, but I actually have a couple more that are on the go. So even though that's not the most, I did 11 socks, so that's the largest category, but that's something that's pretty average, pretty normal for me. So I feel like blankets are the thing that really stood out this year. They brought me a lot of comfort, a lot of joy. I really enjoyed making them, and I don't have any plans to stop in 2024. I wanted to pick out a couple of favorites from this year because there are definitely some clear themes even within the different categories. So we're going to start with socks. My favorite pair of socks I made this year, it's actually 2 pairs because I did the same pattern. So at the beginning of the year, I finished these Advent socks that were an Advent yarn that I had started in December of 2022 and finished it in January of this year. And I really loved working on these. I made them extra super tall. I applied my perfect fit sock formula. I did this slip stitch pattern. I've got all the details in the project page notes because it's not a specific pattern. I thought about writing it into a pattern, but it was already too similar to a lot of things that were out there. So I just wrote up my notes for what I did because I did get it from my brain. I didn't get it from a pattern, so I just put it in the project page. Then I made these a second time in July during Sock Week, and I used my Sock Island yarn from Nicole C. Mendez, and they turned out like this, and I really love those as well. Now, I didn't bring any of those socks with me. I wish I had them today because it is a cool, like 40 degrees or something, maybe 45. I think it's warming up a little bit outside here, but I'm definitely going to be grabbing some of those hand knit socks when we go back and visit my parents in just a few days. Now, hats. This one was really easy. All 4 of the hats that I made this year were the same pattern. The Musselburgh hat by Isolde Teague. I'm wearing one right now. I don't think I completed this one this year. I think I completed this one in 2022. I made one for myself. I made 2 for Kent, and then I'm trying to think if the other one was for myself. If I could use my computer right now, I would, but I'm prioritizing keeping my hands warm. But I love this hat, so much so that I actually made 2 videos about it. I did one whole video about just the different types of Musselburghs that I was doing, some longer, some shorter, some with ribbing, some with different colors. And then I also recorded a tutorial for the cast on method that I use because I know that's something that stumps a lot of people. And so I wanted to help out by sharing the crochet pinhole cast on. Pulling my gloves off because I'm going to show you some projects for a minute. So the last category I wanted to pick a favorite in is blankets because of course this is my year of blankets. I did so many blankets and it was a really hard choice to pick which one was my favorite, but ultimately I decided on this one. I actually have it in my lap and now I'm freezing because I picked it up. I just finished this one at the beginning of the year. I'm counting it as at the end of the year because I did like 2 rows on January 1st. So I'm cheating a little bit, but this is the Crochet Advent Baby Blanket by Lucienne Crochet. I did make some changes to it by narrowing down the stitch count. I increased my gauge and I also eliminated the main color and did it with this one with a 24 Advent. This is a homespun house. I'm gonna put it back in my lap. And I made 2 of these this year. I also made one for Toaster out of a Pokemon Advent calendar that I have. So I feel like since I made it twice, it has to be my favorite. I'm debating making it again because I feel like Kent needs one and I'm trying to convince him that he does because I just want to make another one. I guess I can just make another one regardless. I love this pattern because it's simple and easy and I feel like it just shows off colors really, really beautifully. So I'll have the pattern and my projects linked down below. Now, another one that I don't talk about whips very much in these videos, but because this one is like an ongoing whip for a really long time, I just wanted to share it. I think if I did have to pick a favorite, whips and FOs combined, it would be my travel blanket that I'm currently working on. So this is the Summer Fade Hexie blanket by Mallory Crawl, which I have modified to use up all the yarns that I'm getting as we travel. So when I'm going into yarn stores in different states, I'm always looking for a locally dyed yarn that I can then add to my blanket. If there's a yarn that's dyed for the store or about the area that it's around, then that's the one that I'm going to get because it just represents them so well. I learned after doing a few of these that I can use mini skeins, but because there aren't that many dyers that just do mini skeins within yarn stores, I'm usually ending up with a lot of leftovers. So I'll be doing something epic and cool, later on when we're done traveling. But I've been loving making this one so much. I did also make modifications on this and I have all the details in my project page. I've got some more fun numbers and things to share. Some of these are Knitty Natty related, and some of them are a little bit more personal, like travel stats and things. So real quickly, we'll go through these as well. So this year, Kent and I together, if you don't know my husband, Kent edits all of the videos that you see. Our process is that usually I'm the one to plan the video. Sometimes Kent comes up with an idea, but then I'll be the one to go in and like make an extensive notes page and kind of plan out the different segments. And then if it is a video where I'm sitting down, I'm the one setting up the equipment, recording and all of that. If it's one of our yarn store tours or studio tours, Kent is the one filming that. Then Kent, no matter what the video is, Kent takes it and he edits it along with my notes. And then the final step is I will go and watch through the video in its entirety, give him any like text to add or changes to make, and then you have your finished video on here. So when I say Kent and I made these videos together, I genuinely mean it. So in 2023, we made 120 YouTube videos. Those are just long form videos, not including shorts, which I'm going to try to do more of this year, especially to incorporate in like little tutorials and things. 49 of those were podcasts and 16 of those were our travel videos. So yarn stores, dyers, events that we went to, like festivals, etc. Now, your favorite video of 2023, and this is by views, was the Scrap Free 2023 6-month update. It had 136,000 views, which if you see my channel, it's pretty normal for me to get between 10 and 15,000 views. So this is a lot. So thank you so, so much. Now, I only did one design this year, the mini crochet yarn cozy, but we did end up doing a make along with the cozies, which was a lot of fun. And so I will be doing that again in 2024. Let me scroll down here and see what is next. Okay, so social media, it's always interesting to track those numbers as far as followers and subscribers and everything like that. I know it doesn't seem like the most humble thing to look at, but it's actually pretty important as far as telling Instagram and telling YouTube, like, hey, people like these videos because they've subscribed, because they've followed. So it is something I keep an eye on, though it's not something that I'm like monthly or weekly looking at any longer. But I did write down at the beginning of the year and the end of the year. So on Instagram, at the end of 2022, I had 21,000 followers. And on January 1st of 2023, I just hit 32,000 followers. So that's awesome. And then on YouTube in January, I had 27.5 thousand subscribers. And then here in January of 2024, I have 44.6 thousand subscribers, which is just awesome. My goal for 2023 was to hit 50K. So I didn't quite get it there, but I'm still really happy with that growth. And I feel pretty confident about achieving that in 2024. Okay, now let's get into some personal ones. These are fun. So I did a lot of reading this year. I read 36 books, which is awesome. I've definitely veered off the reading path now since we started traveling. Just our schedule is so much more random and unpredictable, and a lot of our day is taken up by preparing our van to move somewhere else. Can you hear that bird? It's kind of cool. So I'm hoping to get back into my reading habit, at least on the days that I can make it happen this year. And then I have a bunch of travel stats, which I have been diligently keeping track of on my phone. And I think they're really fun and interesting. And I'm excited to continue to do this in 2024. So far we have visited 17 states. We're counting it as a visit if we stayed the night there, not if we drove through it. And honestly, I think we stayed the night in some of these, but on a trip to somewhere else. So we just didn't count that either. So we've probably been to a few more states, but that's what we're keeping track of. Now, we have checked off 13 states that we have done a video in. So some kind of yarn store tour, dye studio tour, festival tour, and our goal is to get to all 50 this year. We have been to 48 yarn stores. It's incredible. I did not think that that was going to happen. I thought we were going to go to 1, maybe 2 per state, but now we're like, why wouldn't we just go to as many as possible and share as many as possible? Why not? We went to 6 yarn festivals or events. And then this one I thought was really interesting. I have been inspired by Kara and Nate, who are like my favorite travel people to watch. And they, or Kara at least keeps track of like how many beds they sleep in because they travel internationally. So they're always staying in different hotels. Now we're most of the time sleeping in our own bed if we're not staying in somebody's house or with one of our parents. But we're always moving to different locations, whether it's a campsite like we're at right now, or a gas station, or a friend's house. We're just always on the move. So I wanted to keep track of how many different locations we parked and slept in, or stayed at a hotel, or stayed at a friend's house, or something like that. Remember that we left in August, and in 2023, from August to the end of the year, we stayed in 66 different locations. That one is so wild to me, and it'll be really fun to see in 2024 what that number becomes. Last one here is, I just added this the other day, national parks, monuments, and sites. So I'm going to yarn stores around the country, and so many people ask, what does Kent get to do? What's his thing? So he loves to visit stadiums, like football stadiums, but also he really loves national parks. And so we've been getting into that together. I've gone to most of them with him. Sometimes I don't go and walk around as much as he does. I might walk around, see it real quick, get back in the car and do some work. But for a lot of these, especially the ones that are outdoorsy, we're going together. So in total, we have visited 24 national parks, monuments, and sites. Maybe forests too. I need to there's a bunch of different things under the national park system. 24 is actually Kent's number. I have only been to 22. We went to one the other day where I didn't even get out of the car. Well, I went to the bathroom, but I don't think that counts as visiting. And then one Kent went to in New York City when I was in New Jersey with a friend. So we're kind of keeping different stats for each of us. At the beginning of 2023, I made some goals, and luckily I have them listed right here in a Google Doc that I can look at and see if I accomplish them. Now, again, I'm not sharing my 2024 goals in this video because I have something unique planned, and I'm going to share that in another video. So let's go through my 2024 or 2023 goals, and I'll let you know which ones I got done. So the first goal was to complete my 2 scrappy blankets, and I did complete that one. The first one was my scrappy granny stripes. That's a loud bird. My scrappy granny stripes, which I finished in January. And the second one was my scrappy granny square blanket, which I finished in February. Both of these projects were really long-term whips, like 5 years old. And so it felt great to kick off the year by getting those done before diving into the other blankets that I made. My second goal for 2023 was to eliminate my scraps in the first 6 months of the year. I am considering this one complete. I actually worked up the last mini skein that I had on July 2nd of 2023. So I think that totally counts. I do have, actually, it's over here, hold on. I do have still a lot to go to finish this project. So this was the last project that I started for my Scrap Free 2023. It is the Battenberg blanket by Sandra Paul, and all of the colorful squares came from an advent, and they're all totally done, but I'm not even maybe a third of the way through completing the blanket. So this will be something that I will be completing in 2024, hopefully towards the beginning of the year. My third goal for 2023 was to start an intentional handmade wardrobe. I did not do this at all. I did make a few garments, but they weren't intentional at all. They were more like things I just wanted to do on a whim. Hint, hint, this is going to be a big part of the video that is coming up with my 2024 goals. So come back and I will be sharing how I'm going to do that. My fourth goal for 2023 was to host a make-along with one of my designs. In the past, I had done a lot of make-alongs, but to my best memory, it had never been something with a pattern that I had designed myself. And so I wanted to change that and, be okay with promoting things that I had created and not just promoting things for other people, which I also love doing. But I thought that would be something really good to kind of push me out of my comfort zone. And so in May, we had the Cozy Along 2023. It was a just really simple make along, just make cozies and share about it on Instagram. And it was a lot of fun. We made over 500 cozies, which was amazing. And I do plan to bring this one back again next year. My last goal for 2023 was to host an in-person meetup or two, and I am considering this one checked off the list as well. So the first one was in August at Leading Men Fiber Arts. They coordinated that one for me. I just had to show up and I got to meet a bunch of people and it was such a lovely time. And then throughout the rest of the months of travel, honestly, we were really figuring it out, like how to plan, how to reach out to yarn stores, what made the most sense for us, what does our timeline look like for things like that? And so it just felt like too much to schedule any additional meetups because we were always kind of planning at the last minute. But I did manage to meet up with some of my Love and Stitches members at various yarn stores or different places. We did 2 meetups in December in Florida, and then I also made it to a couple of knit nights. So now that we know that, we've learned that it's really, really nice to kind of time our yarn store tours, like filming them, the day after we have a knit night or crochet night. So as much as possible, we're going to be trying to do that or just hitting different knit nights along the way. And as soon as I know about them, I am planning to share them on my Instagram. It may still be sort of last minute, like a few days to a week prior, but that's because that's just how we have to travel. If we plan things too far out, things just change and it doesn't always work out. So we're going to be doing better. I want to continue to do these meetups and meet as many people as possible as we travel around the States. Please let me know how your 2023 went knitting and crochet wise. Did you meet your goals? What are your goals for 2024? Make sure to head to my Instagram and download the year in review template to share to your stories, or you can grab the link down below to save it to your device. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!